It's LordOfPondtail here with another video for Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. And today in this video, I want to continue with my tutorials on how to make the most out of your farm. So this is part 2, buildings. And in this video, I'm just going to show you what buildings I think are the best ones to upgrade in your farm accounts. Don't forget, we're trying to maximize the resources that our farms generate, and so my guidance will be kind of with that aim in mind. So I'm in Pond Farm 2 at the moment, and we're just going to have a look around at what buildings I've upgraded. So as we all know, farms are there to make resources for us. So my first advice to you would be that you always focus on your resource buildings whenever you upgrade a level in your farm. And as we said before, guys, you're wanting to get your farms to at least level 16 to be able to generate a decent amount of resources from them, and preferably invest in leveling them up to castle level 19 so that they are then going to be of use to you in Reign of Chaos seasons. Level 19 castles have the dragon buildings, so you'll be able to have the Dragon Slayer, which will bolt dragon shouts if people are trying to move your farm. So if you have that in place at C19, you can have your farms in defensive positions for your alliance centers. So what buildings for the resources are we going to want to upgrade? Well, the hardest resources to obtain in the game in general are gold and iron. So that needs to always be a key focus for you. If we look here, Iron Mine, so this Pond Farm 2 is C21, castle level 21. So I've got all of those upgraded to level 21 already. Good thing with iron mines, they require, the majority of the resources required to level them up is food, and that's going to be the resource that you generate the easiest in your farms. And then they need a bit of charcoal as well. So that's not going to hurt you too much in terms of supplying resources to your main if you're upgrading your iron mines in your farms, and you're going to get the benefit of that increased production from them. So iron mines would be the first building that I upgrade each level. Other key buildings are here, are quarries for marble generation, lumber yard. Again, at the lower levels, lumber is really key for you. It's required for a lot of storage upgrades in the iron storage, also on the stable for your cavalry. Lumber yards in your farms, again, it's another one that requires food. So I would upgrade that very quickly. It's not going to hurt you too much if you're investing food from your farm into upgrading your lumber yards as well. Other resource buildings, I would upgrade your distilleries, because the ale that they generate, you can use that, trade that in your trading house and get other more rare resources such as iron and marble and lumber. Farms for generating food. For me, I would upgrade these last out of all of the core resource buildings, because you're generating quite a lot of food anyway, and if you have completed zone commemoration research in your main account, then your main account will be generating plenty of food all by itself. I never drop below 500 or 600 million food in my main. Once you've finished, if you've got up to level 25 barracks, you've got level 25 iron mines and lumber yards in your main, then you're not going to be using food for too many other buildings. And then it's just kind of what you're getting through in terms of generating your footmen, training your footmen, and losses in battles, etc. So for me, the farm would be the least important, the lowest priority for the resource buildings. So that's resources. What else? Obviously, we've got quite a few other buildings in our towns, so in our castles. Institute. As I said in my research video, you're going to want to complete the top line of basic research as a minimum, and that's going to require you to upgrade the Institute a few levels anyway. After that, it's really up to you what you're doing with your farms. If you're not going to be investing a lot of time in your farms, then don't worry about upgrading your institute. The reason for that, it does take marble, again, quite a scarce resource. And you're going to want to use your marble for more things in your main. If you're like me, you're going for a long-term plan with your farm. So I am going to be completing zone commemoration here in Pond Farm 2, so I need the institute to be level 17. So just bear that in mind, and I've done that as I go. Other things to think about, well, let's look at the blacksmith as well. So at the blacksmith, you're generating your materials to make into your gear, and you're going to want to make scavenger gear to improve your gathering, both load, speed, efficiency. And we want to think about how we can, again, make our farms self-sustaining and easy to manage. So for me, blacksmiths, I always upgrade to level 8, at least level 8. And the reason for that is you're unlocking these additional material crafting slots. So one at level 2, one at level 4, and then one at level 8. That is going to, if you combine that leveling up to level 8 with the accessories production research to expand the crafting slots there, then you're going to give yourself a total of 6 crafting slots. So if you're only visiting your account, your farm account once a day, you can pop in and you're going to be able to select 6 materials to craft, and then that's going to obviously make it more efficient in how quickly you can obtain the gathering gear, which again improves your efficiency in generating resources for your main. If we look on the right here next to the blacksmith, I've got my Dragonite workshops. I do upgrade these as well to level 8 so that I can obtain 250 Dragonite from them. And that will give me 1,000, which is one of the daily tasks. So that can get me 20 daily task points, which again, when you're going for the daily task, that's going to generate resources for you. You're also going to need the Dragonite if you're crafting purple or orange scavenger gear to improve your gathering ability as well. So you will need a certain amount of Dragonite. How much you want to do that is up to you. But I do generate 1,000 Dragonite a day in my farms. The downside is obviously you're using a bit of gold, but if you've got a trader class farm, then you're probably going to be generating plenty of gold. It's not an issue. Crystal workshops. I do upgrade these as well to the maximum level, and the reason for that is when you're upgrading them, they require a little bit of gold and then food again. So it's a resource that you should have a plentiful supply of. And crystal workshops are one of the easiest buildings in terms of their power as well, one of the better ones. So if we look at the building power on the right-hand side here, you get quite big jumps. Even at a lower level 16 to 17, you're getting nearly 800,000 power increase. Level 17 to 18, nearly 1 million. 18 to 19, 1.15 million. And if you do all 6 of those on a building day, that's going to help you. If you choose the right hourly challenge, you can potentially get a 3rd reward chest on an hourly challenge, and you can probably generate a good amount of Clash of Province points to hit the 3rd rewards chest on Clash of Province, which again will give you extra rewards, diamonds, etc., that you can put back into the account. So that is why I do like to focus a bit on these crystal workshops as well. Other buildings to think about. Storages, I usually just upgrade what I need for the castle level upgrades. As we all know, storage buildings do take a lot of resources to upgrade, particularly things like the iron storage, which is going to require lumber. And again, at those lower levels, you really need your lumber to be going into your main to help you with those key elements of the game. Other buildings I do upgrade those. So class training ground, similar to what I do in the Institute with class research, I do focus a little bit on my class training ground because, again, let's look at what it requires. Well, it does require quite a bit of gold, but then the other key resource for it is food, and it requires some marble. So you might not want to do this too high if you're looking to use marble in your main, but the food has never been an issue. And that's going to, obviously, if you're increasing your training ground, you're increasing the capacity of your legion in the class legion, and that means that it's going to have a bigger load and it can gather more resources for you for longer. I put less emphasis on upgrading legions 1, 2, and 3 training grounds because they do require things like iron, which you don't want to be investing too much of that in your farm. You're going to need that iron for your main. Don't upgrade the watchtower because you're going to be attacking the farm with your main, so you don't want to be killing your troops from that. Obviously, the 3 buildings here, upgrade them as per required for the castle upgrades, but for barracks and archery, you don't really want to go any higher than what's the basic that is required, because you shouldn't be using those troops in a farm. You just need to upgrade your stable. As I've said before in my original farm video, I would suggest that you upgrade your stable to level 16 so you can unlock T6 troops. And if you're looking to develop your castle further and potentially have it being a useful ally for you to help protect in Reign of Chaos battles, then you might want to think about increasing your stable up to level 19. But again, it's the pitfall there that you're going to have to spend and invest lumber and iron in upgrading that stable. So it depends on your circumstances. If you're not looking to you don't use the farm in any kind of combat form, then just upgrade to level 16 on your stable for those T6 troops. Trading house, as we've seen, there is a new update, and it now has the slots for the options. So I used to say that I would like to upgrade it to level 15 or 16 anyway, because you were able to trade more gold. You were able to obtain the 3.7 million charcoal bonuses. So again, I would say that you want to be upgrading it to level 13 if you can, because you're then unlocking these 12 slots for trading. And there's so many diverse options on the new trading house now. There are lots of opportunities still to trade your ale and your food here for various items that are going to benefit you. Charcoal. I would obviously, now there is a significant difference. If you run out of charcoal, you're going to drop to 25% production. So what I would suggest, and that is going to have a significant impact on your ability to generate resources. And let's not forget, it's all about generating resources. So my suggestion is charcoal workshop, definitely upgrade it to the maximum level so that it's helping contribute towards that charcoal to keep your buildings operating at 100% efficiency. Then you can combine that with the bulk charcoal that you can obtain at the trading house. So if you look, I've got 128.6 million and I've got a negative consumption of 160,000 an hour. So if I do use a 3.75 million charcoal, that's going to last me a while before I have to refill it. So if I wasn't going into a farm for a couple of days, I know that my buildings are still going to be operating at 100% efficiency if I've got that loaded up. And that is just one thing to think about in terms of the storage, is allowing yourself enough capacity to not be maxing out your storage, and then your farm not generating those resources for you. So yeah, I've got 66 million capacity on my lumber, marble 19.5 million. But again, I did that because I was upgrading these farms to level 20, 21. So for ale, I would suggest you upgrade to at least 5.5 million capacity, as I've got here. That's just so that when you do get those options in the trading house, you're going to have enough ale saved to make the most of it. And again, with charcoal, you're going to need to have your storage upgraded to at least charcoal 2 level 3. So that gives you a total storage amount of 5.5 million. Again, the reason for that is, say if you aren't going to visit your farm for a couple of days and you know you've got to try and put enough charcoal in there so that the supply won't run out. Obviously, if you're using the 3.75 million charcoal option, you don't want to be going over your capacity and wasting that charcoal. So those are the reasons that I upgraded those storages, just so that I can use those items and be as efficient with those items as possible. Other peripheral buildings, you don't need to upgrade them. You know, arena, the bar, you're not going to be doing a lot with your heroes in your farm, really. You don't need them to be leveling up as, urgently. The arena is another building that does require mainly food. So for me, when I'm like trying to hit those Clash of Province rewards chests on a Tuesday building day, then yes, I have been upgrading my arena. That's because I had the ability to do that. I certainly wouldn't advise that you have to do that. You know, same for Sentry Tower, your first aid tents, your training camps. They're not vital other than the basic requirements for upgrading on your castle levels. One other building a couple of buildings I would like to talk about, your class building. So as we said before, if you've got your farm as a trader, then you're going to have the market building, and the higher the level of building for this, the better the tax rate if you were going to trade to another account in your alliance, and also the better the options that you're going to have to spend your gold or diamonds at the traveling merchant. So I do upgrade my market, and obviously if you've got a farm that is a farmer, then you definitely want to be upgrading your Farmers Guild so that you can be again maximizing the benefit from gathering with your troops and generating those resources. Last building I'd like to talk about is the fortress, guys. So we are going to be attacking our farms to raid the resources from them, and when you're in defense, you have to obviously spend diamonds to restore your fortification value by 600. So one trick I would suggest is that if you can upgrade your fortress to at least around the level 10 or level 11, then your fortification value will be higher in your farm, and that will allow your main to hit the farm 3 or 4 times in the first lot of hits if you're raiding from it multiple times. Obviously you can raid if you've got 100% stamina in your class legion, then you could actually raid 20 times if you wanted. But you don't want, if you've got a very low fortification value in your farm, you don't want to be spending diamonds on repairing the fortification every couple of hits. Now, again, the fortress does, the cost of upgrading the fortress is reasonably low in terms of the gold and the marble that it requires. Even for a level 12 here, you see it's only 260,000 marble. The issue is the defensive components. For me, I'm generating quite a few diamonds from my farms, and I don't mind spending 4,200 diamonds on the defensive components to get 100 each time to upgrade the level. But you can get the defensive components as an option in the trading house. So my advice would be, if you see a defensive component in the trading house, then definitely and it's the option is that you're going to be trading, say, food or ale for that defensive component, I would say definitely take that option. And that's an easier way to collect them if you don't have a lot of diamonds, because you want to be saving your diamonds in your farms for a 3-day shield, 2,500 diamonds for a 3-day shield on the Friday, so that you can protect your farm from during the kill events that are on Saturday and Sunday. Mints, you want to upgrade as much as you can to generate gold, but what you have to bear in mind is that that is going to be linked to the capacity that you have in your houses. So, and if you're not, because that will affect your population level as well. So if you're not filling a tavern, which you shouldn't be in a farm, there's only so much that you can upgrade that to. So try and match your mints so that you just upgrade them enough so they match the lowest level of population. And obviously you can upgrade your population by upgrading your houses. You're going to have to, I haven't really touched on houses because you have to upgrade the houses for quite a lot of castle levels anyway. So that again is going to be a given. So that's all the buildings and how I use them in my farms, guys. I hope you found this second video on making the most out of your farms beneficial to you. How much you upgrade buildings in your farms is all down to what time you have available. But as I've said before, the key thing is to focus on resources, generating those resources for you. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.